Welcome to 15 minutes of Amoofy, real voices, real moments, and the stories that might just shift yours. Today, I'm sitting with someone whose amazing, powerful spirit, coding skills, and intentionality has already shaped so much of what Amoofy is becoming. Welcome, Bryan, our lead engineer. How are you today, Bryan?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Well, to get us started, Bryan, would you mind sharing a story or experience that shaped how you show up in the world today?
Yeah, there's obviously quite a few to choose from. Um, but one story that I think you might find interesting is when I was in 10th grade, the only person to teach the English class that I was going to be in was my mother. So in high school, my English teacher was my mom. And at that age, you're kind of coming into your own, you're growing up, you're dealing with, you know, your peers. It's a tough age. And now I have my mom kind of stuck in the middle of all of that. So it kind of taught me a lot to really kind of not care what others think and to just be myself. But it also, gave me a lot of respect for my mother and her work ethic. And overall, it was just a really good experience on how to interact with others, family, and be confident in yourself, especially in a time where so many people are, maybe figuring out who they are and where they're going to actually go in life.
It's a that's a beautiful story, Bryan. And as you know, I have a 14-year-old that I think the advice and the story that you have shared, he'll treasure it. Because it's easier to hear it from others than to hear it from his father. So thank you. Thank
Of
you.
course.
Going a little bit deeper, what's something that you have carried forward, whether it's from your family, your culture, traditions, or communities that still guides you?
So growing up, I grew up in a good household. My parents, they wanted to make sure we were very well-rounded, with a strong emphasis on working hard, doing well in school, but also being involved in music and sports, which I was actively involved in. Music I still am to this day, and it's a big part of me. Sports I played competitively until I was in college, um, and so um, that mixed with always being kind, honest. So this kind of mix of working hard, playing hard, um, and knowing when to be serious and when to be funny. Um, so just kind of being positive moving forward, but never take life too seriously at the same time. So
I can see, in every interaction, Bryan, that we have had with you and I together, but also how you show up in team meetings. I can see that vividly, vividly. And I love the quote of not taking life, even yourself, too seriously, um, but then doing the work and doing it with respect and kindness. I uh, I think that's an important lesson for all of us. What what brings you joy these days?
these days, like I mentioned before, music is still a big part of my life. It maybe not as much as it used to be, but I've been playing piano since I was 4 years old and guitar since I was 12 years old. I still actively, do that almost every day. Um, and lately, exercise and trying to be as healthy as I can is another big thing. If I don't get my exercise in, it kind of ruins my whole day. Not ruins my whole day, but I can definitely feel the difference as
I hear
opposed
you. I
to
hear
if I
you.
did. So
When you are, tell me a little bit about when you're playing, when you're in the zone of playing, whether it's piano or guitar. Tell me how it feels.
I like how you use the word feels. I actually say like, especially writing music, I don't really listen to the notes. It's more how I feel them and how they make me feel. And even just growing up, listening to certain records, would feel it in my core or my chest and know that, oh, I liked that song. Um, and in particular, I don't really play other people's music so much. I mainly just write my own, and to the point where there's so many that I can't remember all of them. But um, one of the most fun and I think neat things you can do in this world is create something. That's why I like being an engineer. But music kind of goes hand in hand with that. Um, you know, just making a little melody or something as simple as just different chord progressions that make you feel a certain way. You're creating not just a song and a sound, but a feeling for yourself, and it's something that you can share with others as well.
The combination, Brian, of having, and even people would see that when you're an engineer, you are like very logical and you need to follow patterns and um but then when you're what you're showing is this combination of, yeah, logical thinking and kind of problem solving, but this art. And I think the combination of this artistic Brian and led by feelings Brian with the intellect and curiosity of problem solving, following um, more of a rigid pattern, I think it's what makes you incredibly special, and what makes Amoofy be a place of fortune, because we found you as a team member. So I love how you spoke about this other part that we don't get to see very often.
Mhm.
I would love to see it more often. Um, but I do feel that that connects to some of the things that we're seeing in society, where there was a big push for STEM, for young people involved in science, technology, engineering, and math, and and there was this kind of, do not pursue soft skills or art because it won't help you progress in a way. And I love hearing your example of keep both, keep both, because yes, you can be you can still continue to pursue a career that it's much more numerical and technology based, etc. But the soul and the creative part of who we are, it's as important to feed and to nurture.
I definitely agree. And none of us are just one thing. Um, so, you know, kind of spreading out your your interests and your loves, whether that be in engineering, music, whatever it may be. I think that's a big part of just being human in general.
I love that. When you think about the future, um, and you think about maybe kind of even what you have learned through your life, and go deeper into future generations, what's what's one hope that you have for us in the future and for future generations, given everything that's going on in the world today?
One thing I hope, and this is maybe just I hope it's not like a short-sighted view of like today's society, but that something like patience isn't lost because I feel like we live in such a, you know, short attention span world now where there's so much, you know, media and with the internet and everything, that I feel sometimes people forget to sit back and enjoy something or really take the time to just be and exist and be themselves. Um, and I cherish that these days. There's nothing actually, I may sound very boring here. I enjoy more than sometimes sitting in a room with no sound, no television, nothing, just myself, not really meditating, but, and I feel sometimes it worries me with today's youth that that is getting lost. Um, but with anything, there's always a force causes another force. So I'm sure that will change down the road. But just to kind of be present and um, tune out the noise. And I hope future generations can do that to really kind of hone in on what's actually important and best for them and everyone else.
Well, just being present with you at this moment, uh, I feel more grounded. So thank you. I love that advice. I love that hopeful advice that we all need. So just to finish this conversation, Bryan, why should someone listening now join the Amoofy movement?
And almost, adding on what I just mentioned, because these stories are important and living in this chaotic world, it can be really easy to forget something that happened or kind of, you know, remember it in a way it didn't actually happen or, um, you know, being able to kind of go back and access those stories, those memories, and really understand what people went through and shared, I think is important. And I think Amify can do a great deal of good by trying to preserve those stories and memories.
Bryan, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being part of this movement, of this venture, of this team. And thanks for listening to this moment of humanity. To our audience out there, if you felt something, share it. If you heard the truth, follow it. And if you see someone, think about it for a minute, be present, be patient, and ask for their story. You'll be surprised. Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you, Luis. This was a lot of fun.